Is it possible to start a job without my parents being notified? Basically, what the title says, I'm 19, and my parents have forbidden me from working. On top of this, my father has forced me to get a credit card, which he himself has almost completely maxed out, and my checking account has less than $100 in it. I don't want to be dependent on them, but I would like to start working without it showing up on their taxes, even though I know I am still filed as a dependent. Is it possible to do this? Of course, you're 19. Cancel the credit card you own jointly immediately. Open your own account with a bank, select paperless so you don't get any mail to your house or get a PO box. Get your own credit card. Use direct deposit for your job. Are you in the US? If so, you are a legal adult and there's fuck all they can do, and they also would never be notified since it's none of their business. Your income doesn't show up on their taxes. You'll get your own W-2 and file your own return. It sounds like you are in a difficult situation. All of the other posters are correct in that you are legally an adult, able to get a job, and responsible for your own credit. However, I feel like maybe there is more going on in your life. Is your home environment a safe place? This kind of behavior from a parent is abusive. If you don't feel safe, there are resources to help you escape the environment. If you do feel safe and your dad is just a money-controlling jerk, then the suggestions from Mike Thomas 4th are the way to go. Either way, you are now in control of your future. At 19, you can do whatever you want, but your parents can also kick you out. With the little info here, seems you need to get out of there anyway. It's been a while for me, but, if I recall correctly, when you do your taxes, you check a box that someone else claims you as a dependent, you get a much lower deduction, and that's it. I don't think your taxes have any bearing on your parents' taxes. Seems the harder thing will be explaining to your parents where you're at for 8 hours a day and why you're so exhausted, if you don't have a job. I've said it before. It blows my mind how many parents steal from their own children. Our job as parents is to set up our kids for success, not failure, before they even step out on their own. You're being abused. Find a friend who will let you move in with them, dip, and never look back. Aren't they going to wonder where you're going for hours a day every day? Amazon hires people all the time with no hassle. Depending on your state, you'll be making $15 20 hours. If you have a car and get kicked out, live in it for 2 to 3 months. It'll suck, but you can save up enough money to get an apartment. Do not let your parents' self-destructive nonsense destroy your own life. Separate yourself in every way possible and begin a new life. I went through the same thing when I was your age. Start anew. Move out as soon as possible. It's your life. Report them for identity theft. Even though they are your parents, what they're doing is identity fraud theft. You are 19, legally an adult. Your parents legally have no more authority over you than the person in the drive-through window at McDonald's. You parents are preying on you, and they will continue to do so as long as you allow it. Your dad is going to wreck your credit and consume your finances as if they were his own, from the sounds of it. Good luck on your endeavor. My father has forced me to get a credit card, which he himself has almost completely maxed out. You need to get out that house ASAP. Second, joining the military is a short-term solution. Sign up for a credit score tracking service, for example TransUnion, so you'll get notified if your parents try to open more credit lines in your name. Open a new bank account at a different bank and use that. Lock freeze your credit. Possibly report your parents for fraud theft of your card. You're 19, a legal adult. If you want a job, you can get one. Don't let anyone, even a parent, talk you into debt without sufficient income. Also BTW, which company gave you a credit card without having an income, and gave you a limit of anything over $250. Controlling and manipulative parents who do shit like this should be automatically eligible for police investigations. I'm sorry I don't have any advice to give that hasn't already been offered in other comments. Your income will not show up on their taxes. Freeze your credit. Don't unfreeze it. Get a bank account that has only your NDE on it, preferably at a bank your parents don't use. Find a way to move out. You're not a minor, nobody can stop you from working. You may need to seek help for domestic abuse, as what your parents are doing is financial abuse. This sounds like an abusive situation. Cancel the card, get a job, and save every penny. Do you have friends that you could stay with? You should have alternative housing plans if things get worse. Housing may be difficult in the long term as landlords often run credit checks. I would also suggest seeking out free legal aid or assistance as they might have other suggestions for this situation. Legally you're an adult. Nobody's going to notify your parents of shit, just put your mailing address down as a friend's house and move out once you have enough saved up. Also make sure if you're planning to keep living with your parents that you don't make too much to be a dependent or they'll end up committing tax fraud. Though from what it looks like, your dad has no problem destroying your credit, so maybe just let them commit tax fraud so you can report them. Also, probably talk to a lawyer about the credit card if possible. Look at ways to freeze your credit. Your father should not have maxed out the card. Make sure he has not applied for cards in your name. If you open an account, do so at a bank that your parents don't use. Also consider doing babysitting during the summer or tutoring for cash. Are you in school? He will thin out eventually and for sure around tax time as you will be filing your own return. Luckily, you are legally an adult so you can open a bank account, a credit card and have a post office box. You can get a job. Why did your parents forbid you from working? How are you supposed to be independent if you can't make money for yourself? Are you in school? Are they concerned about your grades? At 19, you are an adult and can do adult things. Get a job, move out, distance your parents from your personal finances. I hope you understand you are being financially abused. None of this is remotely okay or normal. I'm 19, and my parents have forbidden me from working. My father has forced me to get a credit card, which he himself has almost completely maxed out. I'm really sorry that you don't have better parents. You're gonna have to work towards independence. That credit card needs to go. It sounds like the relationship is rapidly going downhill. If you had to, you could report them for identity theft. It's tough, but you may find that you're better off on your own. You owe all that money on the credit card back, not your dad. He screwed you over. This is emotional and financial abuse and it's illegal, fraud, for your parents to be taking out credit in your name and using it. You need to freeze your credit, cancel that card and get out even if it means running away and checking yourself into a shelter where they can't find you. You're 19, you're an adult. You are as fully responsible for any agreement or debt, can buy property, get married and join the military as much as a 25-year-old is can. Dependency for taxes has nothing to do with it. You obviously live at home and are dependent on them. I moved out of home at 16 for this very reason. My daughter moved out at 17 as I enabled her with the tools and knowledge to be independent. Your parents won't let you get a job because they want you to be dependent on them. 1. Cancel credit card or at least freeze it. 2. Get a job. 3. Move out. 4. Live your life. Why would your parents be notified if you started a job? If you earn over a certain threshold, then I think you can't be filed as their dependent though. I'd also ask, are abusive parents and are raised by narcissists? Your father sounds like a piece of work. Well, they can't forbid you to do anything if you leave, which I highly suggest you do ASAP. A job is a difficult thing to hide from parents, assuming you still live with them. If your parents are actually acting the way that you describe in your post, I hope you understand that they are the villain. They are actively working against you and do not have your best interests at heart. Your plan needs to be to get independent from them as quickly as you can.